Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when the most powerful response is no response at all. When you're falsely accused, when people misunderstand you, when enemies plot against you, your silence can be your greatest defense. True power is not always found in the words we speak, but in the moments we choose to remain silent. Silence is often mistaken for weakness, but in reality, it is the mark of someone who has mastered self-control, discipline, and wisdom. It is easy to react, to argue, to defend oneself, but it takes immense strength to hold back, to observe, and to allow time and truth to speak for themselves. When people attack you with their words, they expect a response. They expect you to fight back, to justify yourself, to engage in the battle they have created. But when you remain silent, you shift the power in your favor. Silence unsettles people. It forces them to second-guess their own words. It makes them wonder what you are thinking, what you know that they don't, what wisdom you hold that keeps you from engaging in meaningless disputes. The strongest individuals in history have understood this power. They knew that not every battle is worth fighting and not every word deserves a response. By choosing silence, they exercised control over situations that could have easily spiraled into chaos. When you remain silent in the face of criticism or conflict, you demonstrate that you are not controlled by the words of others. You refuse to be provoked, manipulated, or drawn into unnecessary strife. This is the true definition of strength. Power that does not need to be proven, but is felt by everyone around you. Think about the moments in your life when someone has said something offensive, hurtful, or completely false about you. The natural instinct is to defend yourself, to correct them, to fight for your reputation. But what if you didn't? What if instead you allowed your silence to speak for you? Over time, truth always rises. Those who seek to harm you with words will eventually be exposed, and your silence will stand as a testament to your character and wisdom. There is another layer to this strength: emotional control. The ability to remain silent, especially when emotions are high, is a sign of maturity and wisdom. Words spoken in anger can never be taken back. They can destroy relationships, create unnecessary enemies, and cause pain that lasts far longer than the moment of anger itself. When you choose silence in these moments, you give yourself the opportunity to think, to process, and to respond with wisdom rather than regret. Silence is also a tool for observation. When you are silent, you listen more. You become aware of things that others miss. You pick up on details, on truths hidden beneath the surface, on motives that are not spoken out loud. In business, leadership, relationships, and spiritual growth, silence gives you the upper hand. The more you listen, the more you understand, the wiser your decisions become. In a world that thrives on noise, arguments, and constant validation, silence is a rare and powerful strength. It is the mark of those who do not seek approval from others, but are secure in who they are. It is the weapon of those who understand that power is not in how loud you are, but in how controlled and deliberate your responses are. When you master the art of silence, you master the ability to navigate life with wisdom, patience, and unshakable strength. Mastering emotional control is one of the most powerful abilities a person can develop. In a world filled with conflict, misunderstandings, and provocations, the way we manage our emotions determines our success in relationships, leadership, and personal growth. Silence is one of the greatest tools for emotional control. When used correctly, it prevents us from making impulsive decisions, saying things we regret, and being manipulated by others. Emotions are powerful, and when not controlled, they can lead us into unnecessary battles. Anger can make us say things that damage our relationships. Frustration can cause us to react without thinking. Fear can push us into making bad decisions. But when you learn to remain silent in moments of emotional intensity, you gain control over your reactions instead of letting your emotions control you. The ability to pause, breathe, and choose silence instead of reacting immediately is what separates wise individuals from those who are easily manipulated by their feelings. Have you ever been in a heated argument where your emotions took over and later you regretted what you said? This happens because in the heat of the moment, emotions overpower logic. But if you had chosen silence, even for a few seconds, it would have given you the time to process the situation and respond with wisdom instead of emotion. Silence creates space for reflection, allowing you to determine whether a response is even necessary. More often than not, silence is the better option because it stops the situation from escalating. Another benefit of silence in emotional control is that it protects your energy. When you engage in every argument, every conflict, and every disagreement, you drain yourself mentally and emotionally. Not every battle deserves your attention. Some people provoke you just to get a reaction, just to steal your peace. By remaining silent, you refuse to give them the satisfaction of controlling your emotions. You take back your power by not allowing others to dictate how you feel or react. Silence also enhances your self-discipline. The more you practice holding back unnecessary words, the stronger your ability to govern your emotions becomes. This self-discipline extends to all areas of life. It makes you a better communicator, a better leader, and a person who is trusted because you are not easily swayed by emotions. People respect those who can remain calm under pressure. When others see that you are not quick to react, they view you as someone who is wise, patient, and in control. In moments of conflict, silence gives you an advantage. While the other person is reacting emotionally, you are observing, you are thinking, you are deciding whether the situation deserves a response or if your silence is enough to neutralize the tension. This ability to remain still and composed in difficult moments is a sign of true strength. The greatest battles are not won by those who yell the loudest, but by those who stay calm, collected, and unshaken. The ability to control your emotions through silence is not just a skill, it is a weapon that protects your peace, your wisdom, and your reputation. Silence is one of the most underestimated strategies in life. While many believe that power comes from speaking, arguing, or asserting dominance, true influence often comes from the ability to remain silent at the right moments. Silence has a unique way of shifting the balance of power in any situation. It forces others to reveal more than they intended, exposes weaknesses, and makes people uncomfortable in ways they don't expect. Those who understand the power of silence use it as a strategic tool in conversations, negotiations, conflicts, and leadership. When two people engage in a discussion or debate, there is a natural tendency for one to fill the silence. Most people are uncomfortable with silence in conversations. They feel the need to keep talking, to explain themselves, to prove a point. This is where silence becomes a weapon. When you remain quiet, the other person begins to speak more, often revealing their true thoughts, hidden intentions, or even secrets they did not plan to share. By simply listening and not reacting, you gain insight into their mind, their emotions, and their vulnerabilities. In arguments, silence is even more powerful. When someone expects you to respond with anger, frustration, or justification, and instead you remain silent, it throws them off balance. It makes them question themselves, doubt their words, and sometimes even regret what they said. They begin to feel the weight of their own words, because instead of meeting resistance, they are left alone with their thoughts. Silence makes them uncomfortable because it removes the energy they were feeding on. They expected a battle, but you refuse to give it to them. This is why silence is such a critical tool in leadership and influence. Great leaders, negotiators, and decision-makers know that speaking less often results in gaining more. When you are silent in a conversation, people begin to wonder what you are thinking. They assume you know more than they do. They become more careful with their words, and they start revealing their own uncertainties. A person who speaks too much risks exposing their weaknesses, while a person who remains silent maintains an aura of mystery, wisdom, and authority. In business and negotiations, silence is often the difference between winning and losing a deal. When you make an offer and remain silent, the other party feels the pressure to respond. In that moment, they may reveal their desperation, their true limits, or their willingness to compromise. Many people talk themselves into bad deals simply because they cannot handle silence. But those who have mastered the art of staying quiet gain control of the conversation without saying a word. Even in personal relationships, silence is powerful. When someone tries to manipulate you, provoke you, or test your patience, your silence forces them to reveal their true character. It puts the responsibility on them to explain themselves, rather than giving them the reaction they are seeking. By refusing to engage, you make them confront their own behavior. Silence is not passive, it is active. It is a strategy. It is a way to let others show who they truly are. It is a tool that gives you the upper hand in conversations, negotiations, and conflicts. Those who know when to remain silent hold the true power in any situation. Silence is not just the absence of words. It is a gateway to deeper understanding, greater wisdom, and divine revelation. In a world that is constantly filled with noise, opinions, distractions, and endless demands, those who cultivate the ability to be silent gain access to insights that others miss. The ability to listen, to observe, and to reflect in silence is a key that unlocks wisdom far beyond what mere words can provide. When you choose silence, you train yourself to listen not just to people but to life itself. There are things that can only be understood when we stop speaking and start paying attention. Silence allows you to pick up on details, body language, and unspoken messages that others overlook. In conversations, those who speak the least often understand the most. They absorb information, process it carefully, and make decisions based on clarity rather than impulse. This is why the wisest individuals are often the quietest in the room. They are not in a rush to prove themselves or to dominate discussions. Instead, they are gathering knowledge, analyzing the situation, and waiting for the right moment to act. Beyond human wisdom, silence is a doorway to divine wisdom. Throughout history, the most profound revelations have come to people not in moments of chaos, but in moments of stillness. When we silence our minds, we create space for divine guidance to enter. Many of life's biggest decisions require wisdom beyond human understanding, and that wisdom comes when we are quiet enough to hear it. Silence allows you to disconnect from the distractions of the world and tune in to a higher frequency, one where clarity, purpose, and divine direction become clear. One of the greatest examples of this is prayer and meditation. When we pray, we often think it is only about speaking, asking, and seeking answers. But true spiritual growth comes not just in speaking, but in listening. Sometimes the answers we seek are already within us, but we can only hear them when we become still. The moments of silence after prayer are just as important as the prayer itself, because that is when divine wisdom flows. Silence also reveals truths about ourselves. When you sit in stillness, without distractions, you come face to face with your own thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. This can be uncomfortable for many people, which is why they avoid silence. They fill every moment with noise, music, conversations, social media, anything to avoid being alone with their own thoughts. But those who embrace silence discover a deeper understanding of who they gain clarity about their purpose, their strengths, and the changes they need to make. Wisdom is not always found in books or in the words of others. Some of the most important lessons in life come in moments of stillness. The ability to remain silent and listen to people, to life, and to God is one of the greatest skills a person can develop. When you master silence, you gain access to knowledge, clarity, and understanding that cannot be found in the noise of the world. Pain is an unavoidable part of life. We all experience moments of betrayal, disappointment, and unfair treatment. When people hurt us, the natural reaction is to fight back, to defend ourselves, to prove a point. But there is a greater power in choosing silence over retaliation. Silence transforms pain into power, turning what was meant to destroy you into something that strengthens and refines you. Many people believe that speaking up and fighting every battle is the only way to prove their strength. But true strength is not always in words. It is in the ability to endure without allowing pain to change who you are. When someone speaks against you, spreading lies or trying to provoke you, your silence is not weakness. It is a sign that you refuse to lower yourself to their level. By staying silent, you are not ignoring the pain, but rather refusing to give power to those who seek to hurt you. Silence in painful moments allows time to reveal the truth. Many great people throughout history have faced false accusations, criticism, and personal attacks, but instead of engaging in arguments, they allowed their character and actions to speak for them. The truth has a way of rising to the surface, and silence allows that process to happen without unnecessary conflict. When you don't waste energy trying to defend yourself, you preserve your peace and dignity, and over time, those who doubted you will see the truth for themselves. Pain also has a way of making people emotional, and emotions can lead to impulsive actions. When someone hurts you, the desire for immediate justice can cloud your judgment. But silence gives you time to think, to process, and to decide how to move forward with wisdom instead of regret. Many people have destroyed their own future because they reacted in the heat of the moment, saying or doing things they later wish they could take back. But when you choose silence, you gain control over your emotions instead of letting emotions control you. Another reason silence is powerful in times of pain is that it forces the other person to face themselves. When someone is expecting a reaction and they receive none, they are left alone with their own actions. This often creates discomfort, guilt, and self-reflection. People who attack you expect to engage in battle, but when you choose silence, you take away their power. They are left to deal with their own conscience, while you walk away with your peace intact. Pain does not have to make you bitter. It can make you wiser. Silence helps you process your pain in a way that leads to growth rather than destruction. It allows you to take control of your story instead of letting others define it for you. When you turn your pain into wisdom rather than reaction, you emerge stronger, more focused, and unshaken by the things that once had the power to break you. Silence is not giving up. It is rising above. It is turning pain into power. Silence is a discipline that requires patience, wisdom, and self-control. But when mastered, it becomes a force that works in your favor over time. In a world that thrives on instant reactions, impulsive decisions, and quick responses, the ability to remain silent and let time work on your behalf is a rare and powerful skill. Many people fail to understand that silence is not passive. It is an active strategy that allows truth, justice, and wisdom to unfold naturally. When you hold your peace and resist the urge to respond immediately, you allow time to reveal the true nature of every situation. Time has a way of bringing everything to light. When you are falsely accused, when others try to tarnish your name, or when life puts you in situations where you feel the need to defend yourself, silence can be your greatest ally. Words spoken in haste can make matters worse. But silence allows space for the truth to emerge. People often expect an immediate reaction, and when they don't get it, they are left to wonder. In that wondering, time begins to work. Lies cannot last forever. Deception always has an expiration date, and those who act with bad intentions eventually expose themselves. One of the greatest benefits of silence over time is the way it refines your own character. When you do not engage in unnecessary conflicts or emotional reactions, you develop patience and resilience. You learn to trust that not everything needs an immediate response. You begin to see the long-term effects of silence, how it preserves your peace, protects your dignity, and allows you to move forward without being weighed down by petty battles. Many people waste time and energy on meaningless arguments, trying to prove themselves to people who are not even listening. But those who choose silence understand that their actions, their consistency, and the passage of time will speak louder than anything they could say in the moment. In relationships, silence teaches you who truly values and understands you. When you refrain from explaining yourself repeatedly or fighting for validation, you see who takes the time to know your heart without the need for excessive words. In leadership, silence sets you apart as someone who does not react emotionally, but instead moves with strategy and wisdom. In personal growth, silence helps you reflect, learn, and make better decisions rather than reacting out of impulse. Silence also forces patience in others. When people do not receive an immediate reaction from you, they are left to deal with their own emotions. Time creates space for self-reflection, for people to reconsider their actions, and for circumstances to shift naturally. Instead of being controlled by the urgency of the moment, you allow the situation to unfold as it should. Mastering silence is mastering the art of patience, and patience always leads to wisdom. The ability to remain quiet in the right moments is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. Time is a powerful force, and when combined with silence, it works in your favor, revealing truth, preserving dignity, and ensuring that everything falls into place exactly as it should. Silence is not weakness, it is strength, wisdom, and power. In a world filled with noise, arguments, and constant reactions, those who master silence rise above the distractions and position themselves for true success. Silence is a weapon that protects your peace, guards your emotions, and allows truth to unfold in its own time. It shifts the balance of power, forcing others to reveal their true intentions while you remain in control. Through silence, you develop emotional discipline, refusing to let anger or pain dictate your actions. You gain the ability to observe, listen, and understand on a deeper level, making wiser decisions that are not clouded by impulse. Silence turns pain into power, allowing you to walk away from battles that do not deserve your energy and ensuring that time works in your favor. The greatest victories are often won, not by those who speak the loudest, but by those who know when to remain silent. Silence refines you, strengthens you, and positions you for greater things. It allows you to hear what others miss, to see beyond distractions, and to navigate life with patience and wisdom. So, let silence become your weapon. Use it to guard your mind, to protect your destiny, and to move through life with the quiet confidence of those who do not need to prove their strength, because they already know they have it.